Toronto Raptors general manager Bobby Webster has finally signed a multi-year extension with the organization. So, does this mean that Masai Ujiri's extension is on the way? Let's get into it. Welcome to Amateur Sports, is the channel where you get NBA content with a focus on the Toronto Raptors in videos like this, as well as watch along live streams like the one we are doing tonight for the game against the Brooklyn Nets. We will be starting 15 minutes before the opening tip, so make sure you are there for the fun of the stream. If you like what you see from today's video and want more of myself talking about the Toronto Raptors in videos just like this, make sure you hit that subscribe button down below. Show your support, join the movement of the channel. We just hit 2,000 subscribers and we're looking to make that 3,000 as soon as possible, so get involved, watch the content. But today we're talking about Bobby Webster signing a multi-year extension and what this means for the likes of Masai Ujiri. So obviously, fantastic news for Raptors fans, locking up general manager Bobby Webster, who has been hugely influential in making the Raptors what they are. Well, not quite this season, but helping make them an NBA champion in 2019. And it is fantastic that we finally were able to lock him up, because in the offseason, we were hoping to have Bobby Webster and Masai Ujiri's contract settled, so we wouldn't have to worry about that over the course of the season, but couldn't happen. I mean, there was a lot of stuff going on, a lot of bodies coming in, a lot of bodies going out for the Raptors. Probably a lot on their plate, and Masai Ujiri especially said that he wanted to take care of his guys in the organization before he started to worry about himself, and that is why I'm so happy about Bobby Webster's signing, because not only does it mean Bobby Webster is staying, it probably means Masai Ujiri is going to stay for the foreseeable future, because Masai Ujiri in the offseason said, once Nick Nurse gets his contract, which he got it fairly early, and once Bobby Webster got his contract, then he would start to worry about himself. He wanted to worry about the other guys in the organization before getting his own contract settled. So now that Bobby Webster is settled, surely that means it's time to start discussing contract situations with Masai Ujiri. I think that the Raptors did a lot of good long-term work in the offseason. Obviously, in the short term right now, the Raptors aren't quite at the level that we thought they would be and that they aspired to be at, but still, they're on the road to recovery. But as far as the long-term future of the organization, I think some good decisions were made in the offseason. Obviously, it sucked that Giannis signed with the Bucks, but that is beyond their control. But the things within their control, they locked up OG Anunoby for 4 years on a very nice contract, 4 years, $72 million. So that's nice to have OG Anunoby for the foreseeable future. I think that the sky's the limit for that player. Defensive player of the year potential, all defense potential this season. So much potential in OG Anunoby, as well as locking up Fred VanVleet for 4 years as well, just over $80 million. I thought that was a fantastic move for the organization as well, locking up the core guys like Fred and OG for the future, as well as having already locked up Pascal Siakam. So that core group of players there, Pascal, Fred, and OG, is locked up for the next 4 years, and that's great for the organization. And we also locked up the reigning coach of the year, Nick Nurse, and we also now have locked up Bobby Webster. Nick Nurse has been a little underwhelming from a coaching standpoint so far this season, but still, nonetheless, good to have him safely locked up with the organization. And now, Bobby Webster, the GM, I was pretty scared. I was growing more worried every day about Bobby Webster and Masai Ujiri's extension because they haven't happened yet, but we're still relatively early in the season. The fact that we have been able to negotiate Bobby Webster's contract this early, kind of under the radar. I didn't see a lot of reports about this until finally, bam, the extension was out and Bobby Webster had signed. But now, let's start to focus on Masai Ujiri, because Masai Ujiri is a hot commodity in the NBA. There are a lot of teams who are going to be gunning to bring him into their organization. The Washington Wizards, big time, are pursuing Masai Ujiri. I'm sure the New York Knicks, big time, are pursuing Masai Ujiri, among other clubs that maybe we don't know about. But the Toronto Raptors have really had this resurgence of an image under Masai Ujiri over the last decade or so. Masai Ujiri, since he stepped into the organization, has helped build up into this formidable unit, a respectable organization, at least more respectable. Toronto still doesn't quite get the love that they deserve. They still get a lot of hate, but respectable organization. The fact that they have won an NBA championship because of the fantastic work, pulling the trigger on that DeMar DeRozan deal that not a lot of people in this position would have had the guts to do, to trade, your franchise player DeMar DeRozan, to bring in a guy like Kawhi Leonard to help just solidify that contender status and push you over the line for that NBA championship. I think a lot more executives, GMs, people in power need to have the guts to make those sort of decisions more often. We got a report from Woj about this situation, solidifying Bobby Webster signing his extension, but also reiterating the fact that Masai Ujiri, having not signed an extension in his final year, is not an uncommon thing at the management level. So I don't think there's a lot of worrying signs here for Raptors fans, and I think it's very good for Raptors fans to know that Bobby Webster is taken care of, and now Masai Ujiri is going to step into some conversations about his future with the organization. So at least there's going to start to be traction in Masai Ujiri getting a new contract with the Raptors. Now, from the end of last season, since we lost to the Boston Celtics in that Game 7, Nick Nurse was taken care of immediately, and I was always pretty adamant and pretty confident that it was just a matter of time for Bobby and Masai to lock up their extensions. I'm still in that boat. I'm finally seeing Bobby Webster sign, and I'm still in the boat. I'm very adamant that Masai Ujiri is going to remain a Toronto Raptor organization member for the foreseeable future. I just simply cannot see him leaving. I think there is a big project here, and now more than most, we really do need the work of Bobby Webster and Masai Ujiri. We don't quite have a full understanding about the scope and the direction of the organization. I think their big plan of signing Giannis in the next offseason has been completely derailed, obviously, from Giannis signing his Milwaukee extension, something that really caught me off guard and something I was not expecting like this early, maybe at the end of the season, but was definitely not expecting Giannis to sign that extension this early, which ultimately led to Serge Ibaka leaving and joining the Los Angeles Clippers. So there's a lot of work to do in this offseason. Kyle Lowry, will he still be a part of the Toronto Raptors? Norman Powell, will he still be a part of the Toronto Raptors? There's a lot of decisions that need to be made. There are free agents available like DeMar DeRozan, like Victor Oladipo, that the Raptors can be pursuing, and it's up to the guys like Masai Ujiri and Bobby Webster to put the right team in place to get us back in contention, because this season, Raptors fans, I think, are a little bit spoiled recently. The way the Raptors have been over the last decade have always been a fantastic, formidable team in the Eastern Conference. Maybe not always that great playoff threat, but at least they have that championship that a lot of teams do not possess. But before that, the Raptors were a bit of a laughingstock in the league, but now Bobby Webster and the likes of Masai Ujiri have built us up into this stature now where we can expect better things than starting off the season with a losing record like this. Still being under 500 at this stage of the season, a lot of work needs to be done, and I have full faith, and I always have had full faith in Masai Ujiri to make the correct decisions for the future of the organization. It seemed like he was really banking on getting Giannis, and that's why he was saving a lot of cap and didn't get Serge Ibaka to return to the Raptors. However, if he wanted to go for that Hail Mary heave, he's already done so in getting Kawhi Leonard. If he wanted to go for that Hail Mary heave and try to bring in Giannis, I don't blame him. I think that we always knew that this year was going to be a transition year, but we have to see what this transition year transitions into. What are we going to be next season? Because I think that the Raptors fans can expect that the Raptors should be back in contention, back competing for a higher seed in the Eastern Conference. Not what we're seeing this season. I think it's up to Masai Ujiri to put the correct people in place on the team, on the court, to ensure that the Raptors can be back in that contention spot. Obviously, it's going to come down to a lot of decisions in free agency, some trades. We'll see if there's any trades before the end of the season, but I have full faith. Once again, I believe in Masai, and I think he is the best person to be involved in this organization, and I very much hope that he returns for the future of the Raptors. I think, I always talk about what I think the Raptors should do, what I think the Raptors should be doing, who they should trade for, who they should sign, who they should not sign. But at the end of the day, I have full faith in Masai Ujiri to make those decisions. And Raptors fans, we are very, very lucky to be in a position where Masai Ujiri is overseeing basketball operations for this franchise. There are a lot of idiots in place in the NBA in that position. Like, look at the New York Knicks, the absolute dumpster fire of an organization that is. Raptors fans, we are blessed to be in the position we are. We have that championship. There are so many teams who do not have that championship, and we can always appreciate that moment like that. So the bottom line of all this, Bobby Webster is here to stay. Nick Nurse is here to stay. And we also have a core group of players in Pascal Siakam, Fred VanVleet, and OG Anunoby locked in for the future. That is a future that I would like to be a part of. I'm happy to see where this future brings us, where we go through in the future. But we really need to have Masai Ujiri locked up, and I think it's only a matter of time. I think that Masai Ujiri's contract negotiations are going to start very soon, and I think that a deal will be wrapped up by the end of the season. And if not, I feel like it will still get done. I wouldn't worry as a Raptors fan. I think that this deal still is just simply patience. It's gonna happen at some point. Just stay patient. I can't see a lot of forces driving Masai Ujiri away. Maybe you guys see it differently, but I truly believe Masai Ujiri is a Raptor and he is here to stay. So what do you guys make of these contract negotiations? Do you think that it was a great move by the Raptors to bring in Bobby Webster? And do you think Masai Ujiri is just a matter of time before he signs his contract? Let me know all of your thoughts and opinions in the comments down below. That wraps it up for me for today. Until tonight when we have the watch along. Thank you so much for watching. If you're still here, please like the video if you like, and subscribe to Amateur Sports for more content just like this. Also, if you still want more content than just the videos, again, live streaming on the channel. We have so much fun with those live streams. Come watch along the Brooklyn Nets for the Toronto Raptors tonight. Tonight, can we stop the likes of Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving, and James Harden? We will have to see later on. But at the end of the day, I believe what I say. If you disagree, that is okay. We'll see you again next time for another video.